Good morning, everyone. My name is Nora Vargas, and I'm the Vice Chair of the San Diego County Board of Supervisors, proudly representing the residents of District 1. Before we begin today's press conference, I want to invite Rabbi Lori Koski to lead us in an invocation today. Rabbi?
Good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year. It is the Jewish New Year, and we wish everyone a happy, a healthy, and a sweet Jewish New Year. And you can wish that to each other. Happy, healthy, and sweet. Nice. On September 1st, the Reformed Jewish movement across the country and internationally put out a statement endorsed by all reform organizations. And they wrote, in response to a new Texas anti-abortion law that came into effect, leaders of Reformed Jewish movement institutions have issued this statement. We denounce in the strongest term the law that went into effect in Texas, effectively making abortion care illegal in that state. In the most insidious state abortion restriction adopted to date, this Texas law makes abortion illegal as early as 6 weeks before many are even aware that they are pregnant. The law is manipulatively designed to thwart courts' ability to protect reproductive freedom, prohibiting state officials from enforcing the law, but empowering any Texan to sue any person, an abortion provider, a counselor, a member of the clergy, a clinic worker, even a driver who delivers a person to a clinic, to name only a few examples, who assist in accessing abortion care. For this reason, many Texas clinics are now unable to provide abortion care at all, as they are understandably unwilling to place their workers at intolerable risks from potentially ruinous lawsuits enabled by this Texas law. We are concerned about individuals who cannot afford to travel long distances to secure abortion care in neighboring states. We are also deeply concerned about Jews who will be unable to pursue an abortion in keeping with Jewish law, which mandates abortion when necessary to preserve the pregnant person's well-being. With respect to Judaism's own limited approval of abortion, they quote, "As we would not impose the historic position of Jewish teaching upon individuals, nor legislate it as normative for society at large, so we would not wish the position of any other group imposed upon the Jewish community or the general population. We also ground ourselves in kavod habriyot, the sacred obligation to provide medical care. We will continue to work to overturn this law, prevent similar laws from being adopted in other states, and affirm the right of every person to make their own reproductive health decisions." This is affirmed by the Reformed Jewish movement, representing more than 2 million Jews worldwide, as well as the largest Jewish denomination in the United States. And we say that, I give this to you, this statement, on the holy day of Rosh Hashanah, on the Jewish New Year's, because we wish to each of you, L'Shana Tova Tikatevu, that you have a good and healthy year, but also Tikatevu, that you be written in the book of life. And how do we get written in a book of life? We make our deeds matter. We do the right thing. We uphold ethics. We do what's hard. And our deeds become written in the book of life, because it's our perception that everything we do is written in that book of life, and we have to make every action meaningful. Nora Vargas, you are a prophet, you are a sage, you are a leader, and as one of our county supervisors, this is your charge. We all support you today in the effort you are making to champion reproductive choice in this county of San Diego. And let us all say, Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi. It is so wonderful to be here today. with so many wonderful people during these really difficult times. Because, for me, for over 25 years, I've been fighting for access to safe and legal abortion through my various roles, from being a volunteer to serving as an executive alongside fearless advocates for reproductive health, rights, and justice. And so that work will continue for me as the supervisor, now your supervisor. Access to healthcare has always been a top priority for me, and safe, legal abortion is healthcare. It's always said that elections have consequences, and here we are today seeing that come true. It really is hard to believe that we're in 2001 and that this is happening right now. We're seeing over 6,000 restrictive laws introduced across the nation by state legislators, courts, and governors eager to set back decades with the stroke of a pen by restricting access to safe and legal abortion care. We know that in the next term, which starts in October, the Supreme Court is set to decide whether Roe v. Wade should be overruled in a case from Mississippi concerning a state law banning most abortions after 15 weeks that has been blocked by the courts. This decision could have far-reaching impacts. Just last week, Texas stripped the rights of women and criminalized them for accessing health care. Let's be clear. Access to safe, legal abortion is social justice, it's racial justice, and it's economic justice. Access to safe and legal abortion care, or lack thereof, has real-life impacts for our communities, especially communities of color who rely on access to safe, legal abortion. That is why we will continue to fight diligently to protect and expand the rights and access to reproductive and sexual health care for all. We really have fought hard for those rights, and we're going to keep fighting to protect them. I'm so proud to be standing here today alongside these champions for reproductive freedom, and I thank them for their support as I introduce a resolution to the San Diego County Board of Supervisors next week, declaring San Diego County a champion for reproductive freedom. This board letter is going to strengthen the County of San Diego's commitment to safe and legal abortion access. It makes San Diego County the first county government entity in the nation to pass a resolution championing reproductive freedom, and I hope my colleagues across the country will do the same. And for any person facing an unplanned pregnancy, the County of San Diego will remain a safe haven for you to exercise those rights. Now, it is my honor to introduce one of the top local and national reproductive freedom champions, my friend, my former boss, and the president and CEO of Planned Parenthood of the Pacific Southwest, Dara Johnson. Dara?
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today. And a wonderful, heartfelt thank you to Vice Chair Vargas and her entire team for putting this together and for allowing us all to share in this moment. On behalf of all of us at Planned Parenthood of the Pacific Southwest, our board of directors, our dedicated staff, and the tens of thousands of patients who depend on us and our care, I'm really honored and privileged that I get to be a spokesperson today on behalf of everybody and reproductive freedom. Planned Parenthood got its start with a singular mission, and it was a revolutionary mission back in the day, to give people the freedom to control their own bodies and to make their own decisions about whether and when to have children. And that movement is now decades and decades in the making. It is built on the sustained and tireless advocates who refuse to go back to a world that is shaped by shame, by stigma, and by lack of choices. Across this country, as Vice Chair Vargas said, we are seeing laws being passed that would actually return us to that world. Laws that would criminalize abortion and would limit access to sexual and reproductive health care. The latest of these is, of course, Senate Bill Texas 8. That bans abortion at 6 weeks gestation, which essentially is a de facto ban on all abortion in the state of Texas. The legislation, the heinous legislation, allows anyone, anywhere, to sue people involved in providing abortion care or practical support to patients in Texas and win judgments of money. judgments of money of $10,000 or more if they assist. The law is not intended to do anything but to shut down abortion care in Texas and to control women and people who have abortions. And for now, that has succeeded. The Supreme Court has allowed this grotesque law to stand, all but eradicating abortion in the state of Texas, which has been a constitutional right for 50 plus years. Not that surprising, because we know that this is a part of a long history of lawmakers who are trying to make it harder for women and for people of color and for young people and folks who need to access abortion care, and it's about controlling women and their bodies. This year alone, there have been nearly 600 abortion restrictions introduced throughout the country, and undoubtedly, this Texas Senate Bill 8 is the gravest threat to abortion access and rights in decades. The impact of abortion ban and restrictive laws, as the Vice Chair just stated, is devastating across the board. However, it disproportionately impacts those that already face burdens to accessing care, particularly people of color, particularly people with lower incomes, our immigrant communities, and our young people. For this reason, we are especially grateful and proud of local lawmakers such as Vice Chair Nora Vargas, who are sounding the alarm in San Diego and affirming the kind of society that we demand that we get to live in, where people are trusted to make their own decisions and where they have the support to choose the life for themselves that they want. We cannot be complacent even in the state of California. Even in the state of California, it is imperative that every individual, that every community, and that every state legislator and every legislator speak up. Affirm loudly our commitment to the protection of abortion and sexual reproductive health care in your community. We have an opportunity to send a very, very powerful message that we are not Texas, we are not Mississippi, we are not Georgia. However, we stand with the people in each of those states, and we will be here for them in San Diego County and beyond if they need us. The governors of these states and their legislatures have essentially turned their backs on their own people, playing politics with people's health care. San Diego will never do that. Thank you to Vice Chair Vargas and her team, and Planned Parenthood will never do that. So we are proud here in San Diego County to be one of the torches that is lighting the way towards a healthier future. And we are thankful for the leadership of trailblazers such as Vice Chair Vargas. And thank you, all of you, for standing up for what you think is right and for standing with patients everywhere.
Thank you, Dara. I also want to make sure, I want to thank Planned Parenthood for all the work that they've done for so many years, but I also want to invite now and welcome Dr. Pratima Gupta. Dr. Gupta is an obstetric gynecologist practicing in San Diego, California. As a board member of Close the Gap California, she's working to get more women elected into office, but she also currently works at UCSD and Planned Parenthood, which provides abortion care and comprehensive reproductive health care, and is committed to increasing access to family planning. Dr. Gupta.
Thank you, Supervisor Vargas. My name is Dr. Pratima Gupta, and I'm an obstetrician gynecologist and provide abortion care in San Diego. This new Texas abortion ban prevents Texas providers from offering compassionate abortion care to their patients. Can you all imagine seeking health care and expecting the medical expertise, but instead you get lies and limited options? This law is not about safety. It's designed to intimidate physicians and other clinic staff out of providing abortion care. Under this law, providers can face ruinous financial penalties, legal costs, and court orders shutting their doors. We are with you, Texas. We are all here today, all of us are here today to fight to ensure that anyone can access safe, legal, high-quality reproductive health care and abortion care that they need. We get to abortion justice when abortion is available, affordable, and supported by anyone who needs it. Anti-choice politicians want to intimidate, bully, and punish anyone who wants an abortion or help someone who does. We're with you, Texas. As a physician who provides abortion care, I see firsthand how politically motivated restrictions on abortion hurt people and families. They It shouldn't be up to ideological politicians to make decisions about our health and our bodies. That's a decision someone should make with their loved ones and a healthcare provider like me. We are with you, Texas. I practice medicine. Politicians should not. This ban will harm people of color, people with low incomes, our youth, and those living in rural areas the most. Last week, actually, just last week, we saw a young woman, I'll call her Ruth, who was a parent. She was working, she's in school, she got pregnant. She was unable to refill her birth control prescription. She decided to terminate her pregnancy and had an appointment, but was canceled due to the implementation of SBA. She was able to make her way to California, and we performed her abortion. We should be proud of this care in San Diego because this is how it should work. Systemic barriers will create, well, it was an honor to care for Ruth. There are so many people who are not this savvy, and systemic barriers will create nearly insurmountable obstacles for certain vulnerable populations, including our youth, who may not realize that they are pregnant until later on. Low-income people who may not be able to find the $550 that's needed to cover the cost of the procedure. People of color, including undocumented immigrants. We must leverage our privilege and our power to support all people's access to their legally protected care. We are with you, Texas. The medical community and public health experts oppose SBA. We're devastated and disappointed that SCOTUS refused to block it. Their indifference to the suffering of folks in Texas is absolutely inhumane. Everyone, regardless of their race, their income, or where they live, deserve the best medical care and information available. Under this law, they won't get it. When we stand against these sham laws, we're standing up for pregnant people who have the least access to care. We're with you, Texas. So what can you do? We can stand with Vice Chair Supervisor Vargas in declaring San Diego a county of reproductive freedom. We can stand with everyone providing abortion care in Texas and remain committed to advancing just and equitable abortion contraception that's informed by science, not politics. We can uplift actions to support people in Texas currently seeking abortion care and craft strategies to fight for comprehensive health care to be restored in Texas. Actions that you all can take today to be part of this work include centering the evidence that shows abortion is safe and effective. Chip in for Texas abortion funds. Donate to keep clinics open if you're able. Learn about the current state laws in Texas and restrictions, and share information about where people in Texas can get abortion care. And speak out, as we all are doing, and being here against threats to abortion. We are with you, Texas. Esta ley no hace nada para mejorar la seguridad o la salud. Solo crea mayores demoras y pasos adicionales para las mujeres que buscan los servicios de aborto y planificación familiar. En el proceso, esa regla castiga a las personas y las familias por su decisión de ejercer su derecho constitucional de poner fin a un embarazo. Esto es lo que hacemos. Estamos contigo, Texas. We are with you, Texas.
Thank you so much. It is my pleasure now to introduce Jasmine Asuna, who is a student at SCSU and who also is a fellow in my office. And we felt it was really important to make sure we invite our young women to speak.
Hi everyone. So as a queer Latina student, I know firsthand the importance of what's being done today. I have the privilege to live in California, a state that respects our right to determine our own future and have control over our own bodies. But not everyone has access to affordable birth control or abortion. In the state of Texas, that right has been revoked, and by deputizing the public to report abortions after 6 weeks, we are taking a million steps back in the wrong direction. 2 weeks late on our period, it happens incredibly frequently, and the idea that the arbitrary 6-week restriction only allows us 2 weeks to consider the possibility of a pregnancy, to be tested, to find an appointment, and deal with all of that is incredibly disappointing, to say the very least. That is why I am so proud to stand with these champions for reproductive freedom and to support the Supervisor's resolution to declare San Diego County a reproductive justice champion. Thank you so much.
I also want to thank you. Please give them all a round of applause for being here today. You know, it's It is a new day in California and in San Diego because I do want to emphasize the importance. I started working in the reproductive rights movement, justice movement in San Diego and advocating about 25 years ago, as I mentioned. And the folks that I'm going to mention to you today, this wasn't like San Diego was before. This has changed because of the work that so many people have done on the ground. And so I want to thank all of these elected officials who are local elected officials who are standing here with me and who are doing the right thing and are not afraid to stand with all of us and making sure that we all are true champions for reproductive freedom. And so let me introduce our mayor from National City, Alejandra Sotelo Solis. Thank you for being here. Our Encinitas mayor, Catherine Blakespear. San Diego Council Pro Temp, Stephen Whitburn. San Diego Councilmember Shanilo Rivera. Imperial Beach Councilwoman Paloma Aguirre. Encinitas Councilmember Kelly Shikins. Chula Vista Trustee Kate Bishop. Southwestern College Trustee Roberto Alcantar. And from the Office of Governor Gavin Newsom, Maurice Lyles. And Board Commissioner Sandy Naranjo.
And Corinne.
Oh, and Corinne. Where is she?
Yeah.
my school board trustee from Southwestern College. Yes. Welcome, Corinne. So I am just really happy that all of them are here and that they're standing with us because, like I mentioned, this is the first time a county is going to be introducing an initiative to make sure that we demonstrate that the County of San Diego is a champion for reproductive freedom. And I'm not doing this alone. I'm doing this on behalf of our communities. And so quiero darles las gracias a todos por estar aquí. Estamos aquí esta mañana porque nuestros derechos reproductivos están siendo atacados. En lo que va del año, cerca de 600 leyes han sido introducidas en el país para limitar el acceso al aborto seguro y legal. Estas leyes estarían retrocediendo el progreso por el cual hemos luchado por tantos años. Quiero hacer mención que a principios de esta semana en México, el segundo país del mundo con mayor número de católicos en el estado de Coahuila, frontera con Texas, la Suprema Corte acaba de votar por dejar de criminalizar a las mujeres. And so I just want to emphasize what I just said in Spanish and I'm saying it in English. I want to make sure we emphasize this, that this week alone, Mexico, the second largest country with most Catholics, because of the legislation that happened in Coahuila, that is on the border of Texas, the Supreme Court of Mexico has decided to vote to decriminalize women who have abortions. We've been fighting for many years for this. For that to happen now, I think is really the direction that also the United States should be heading in. So, es una decisión histórica y quiero enfatizar que el acceso al aborto legal y seguro representa la justicia social, racial y económica. El limitar los derechos reproductivos impacta a nuestras comunidades, especialmente a las comunidades de color que son las más vulnerables y necesitan el acceso. Es por eso que ahora, como supervisora del condado de San Diego, continúo con mi compromiso de proteger los derechos de nuestras comunidades. Esta mañana me enorgullece mucho estar rodeada de colegas y líderes de los derechos reproductivos para informarles que la próxima semana introduciré una resolución ante la Junta de Supervisores. Esta resolución fortalecerá el compromiso del condado de San Diego como proveedor de aborto legal y seguro. Al adoptar esta resolución, también seremos el primer condado en todo el país en declararse un defensor de los derechos reproductivos. Y para cualquier persona enfrentando un embarazo no planeado, el condado será un lugar seguro para ejercer el derecho a elegir. Muchas gracias por acompañarnos. I want to make sure we finish this today by saying there's a couple of things that you can do. There's a couple of call to actions for everyone here. Call your federal representatives. It's extremely important that we codify Roe versus Wade. Call your federal representatives. They can do that. And it's important for us to do that. I want to make sure that you share on your platforms, that you support San Diego County being a champion for reproductive freedom. I think all of you know that last week we had over 400 people come to the county and opposition to everything that we're trying to do. And so I need everyone to make sure that they're emailing and they're saying to their supervisors that they support that San Diego County is going to be a champion for reproductive freedom. And then more importantly, come together in solidarity with people from all walks of life to tell us more about how San Diego County is going to be organizing in the next couple of months. I want to welcome Poppy Fitch from the Women's March San Diego to share with us the information about the march on October 2nd. Oh, it's not Poppy.
I'm Molly Turbevich right now representing Women's March San Diego to voice our support of the resolution to declare the County of San Diego a champion of reproductive freedom and to share about the actions support women's bodily autonomy. Thank you to the Board of Supervisors, Chair Fletcher, and Vice Chair Vargas for their continued exceptional leadership on public health, for championing the science-supported solutions, and for centering individuals and communities of color in health equity efforts. Women's March San Diego believes in reproductive freedom and stands firmly with our partners at Planned Parenthood. We do not accept any federal, state, or local rollbacks, cuts, or restrictions on our ability to access quality reproductive health care services. This means open access, safe, legal, affordable abortion and birth control for all people, regardless of race, income, location, or education. The U.S. Supreme Court has effectively allowed the state of Texas to ignore nearly 50 years of precedent and strip women of their constitutional right to access abortions. If we think Texas is a world away, understand that the outcome of the California recall election on September 14th has the potential to impact the future of women's reproductive rights in California and across the nation. The single most important action each of us can take is to vote no in next week's recall and to urge everyone to vote no. Make no mistake, reproductive rights are on this ballot. On October 2nd, ahead of the convening of the Supreme Court, Women's March San Diego will join organizations across the nation to march and take action in support of reproductive rights. We are so glad to see other community groups also organizing actions. We firmly believe that we are stronger together and invite organizations to contact us to join forces to increase our impact. Individuals and organizations can find opportunities to get involved or contact us at womensmarchsd.org. Our liberty is indeed bound up in one another's. Thank you.
Como dijo, entonces este próximo 2 de octubre es la Marcha de la Mujer, no se la pierdan. Muchísimas gracias por venir. Again, I want to thank all of you for coming on. Thank you for everything that you do. Everyone in the County of San Diego, and to all the Texas women, Mississippi women that may be watching, we're here for you. We're going to protect you. San Diego County will be a champion for reproductive freedom. Thank you.